Welcome back to coding. So we're going to have a quick discussion about how coding might affect other statistics that you could calculate. So in the previous video you saw that the mean was affected by the code in the same way that the original data was. So the mean is representing the centre of the data. Another way that you can represent the centre of the data is the median. So hopefully it will be straightforward to you that the median would be affected by coding in the same way as the mean. Quartiles, again, they're talking about something to do with the placement of the data, so they are affected in the same way as the mean. Now we saw that the standard deviation was affected by multiplying your numbers in a code, but not by adding or subtracting something from your numbers. And it was affected by the same multiplication or division as your original numbers were in the code. So the variance, which is very closely linked to standard deviation, because the variance is the standard deviation squared, is affected in the same way as the standard deviation. It's only affected by the multiplication or division, not the addition or subtraction. But because it's the standard deviation squared, you need to square that multiplication or division. So if your original data was all multiplied by 2, the standard deviation would be multiplied by 2, and your variance would be multiplied by 4. Okay, coding part 2. Very exciting piece of data here. We've got the length of time to the nearest minute that students spent answering a coding question. So reading the frequency table, there were 5 students who took 0 to 5 minutes to the nearest minute. So this is our original X data here, which you could calculate the mean and standard deviation for. If you wanted to, you could go away and do that now. However, what we've been told is some data for a variable y. So this is for x, and this is for y. Now what you've been told is that the data has been coded so that you've been given the mean and the standard deviation for the time in seconds. So could you write an equation that links x and y together? Hopefully you've written down y equals 60x, because x is in minutes, so you would need to multiply that by 60 to get the number of seconds. So this is your code between x and y. If we know the mean and the standard deviation for y, we can use this code to work out the mean and standard deviation for x by undoing the code. You need to be thinking carefully about how the mean and the standard deviation were affected. So if I've multiplied all of my original numbers by 60 to get a new y data set, I'm going to need to divide this mean of y by 60 to get the mean of x. So if we do that, x bar is going to be y bar divided by 60. And if you do that on your calculator, hopefully you get 11.32. If you remember again, the standard deviation is affected by multiplication. So if I wanted to get the standard deviation for x, I would also need to do the standard deviation for y divided by 60 to undo the code, which should give you 6.6. Now hopefully, if you went away, which you should do, and calculated the mean and the standard deviation for that data, you would get these numbers. But you can see that because we know the code and the coded data statistics, it's much quicker to do it this way by undoing the code than working back with the original data.